Peace and power to the descendants of my ancient mother. My name is Brother Legend, and I'm here to raise your consciousness. What up, what up, what up? If you are just joining us, welcome to the live. We are testing once again to see if we can stay up here. It has been an uphill climb to stay above 20 people in the live. Woo! All right. Shout out to Sister Knotless. You was on point, sis. You got that. I guess talking in the first few seconds is really the problem. You can't talk until we get to 2K. So that's why I was about to start doing it again, and I just stopped. I'm like, oh yeah, she said don't say nothing. Okay. Welcome to the live, y'all. My name is Brother Legend, and I'm here to raise your consciousness. Peace and Pan-Africanism, peace and power to the descendants of my ancient mother. Happy Mother's Day to those that are mothers. You know, the only women I acknowledge, y'all know who you are. The default in this live, the black woman. So we talking about, do interracial relationships benefit the black community? Do they benefit? Have they helped? What have they helped? Are they constructive? Are they conducive? Do they liberate? Do they oppress? Do they perpetuate injustice? Or have they been a vehicle for liberation? What has gone on in our community since Loving versus Virginia? Has it been unity? Has it been division? I'm seeing an alarming trend of people saying the black wife effect. I don't know if y'all have seen this trend. It is it's a disturbing trend. We don't get trends like that without Loving versus Virginia, and I think it's very I think it's in bad taste, to be honest. Um, but you know, we seen it. We done had how many years of Passport Bros? So I think sometimes maybe it's the sister's turn. You know what I'm saying?
No.
That's what it seemed like. I hear you, but maybe we shouldn't even. I don't know. Nah, I can't decide on. I can't. I shouldn't be the chooser of who's a sister or who gets called a sister, who doesn't. But I know if a brother talking like that, we ain't calling him no brother. You know what I'm saying? He's a double agent. You know what I'm saying? But it is an alarming trend and speaks to the level of misinformation in our community, where we've been told that we are no longer oppressed during the midst of our oppression, and a lot of us just want to believe that, so we'll run with it. You know, that's just a thing. Um, but yeah, so what's going on, brother Chaka? How you doing, man?
Peace, brother. Just got off of the plantation. I mean, work.
Yeah, I know what that's like. I know what that's like.
First off, I want to start off by saying Happy
Mhm.
Mother's Day to all the sisters out there, to the mother of mankind, to the queen of the earth, to the goddesses of the universe, the black woman, the greatest woman on the planet. All right, don't give me no Miss 6 o'clock, no frills, no thrills. Iron the boy backside. Give me that black goddess sister. I can't resist her.
Ironing board backside, I can't. Hey, yo, that's
Miss six
facts,
o'clock,
man.
no thrills, no frills.
Hmm.
Subject to have the itch. Humanoid, cockazoid, YT cave.
Hmm.
All
Absolutely.
right. First off, for those who knew, my name is Shaka. I'm 21 years old. My pronouns are he, him, and I'm black and I'm back.
Absolutely.
Black laws and black liberation for all black people. Free the land. What's up?
Hey, there go the yeah. That's the intro. Absolutely. That's the intro. I need to just bite that whole intro. You're right. Like that. That's the intro. Free the land. That should be at the front of our minds, y'all. Did y'all see what Ibrahim Traore said in his speech a few
Yeah, I
days ago?
did.
Fire.
Loved it.
Fire. He called out American Africans, Caribbean Africans, European Africans directly and told y'all to use your platforms to raise your voice to wake your people up. This is coming from President Ibrahim Traore of Burkina Faso on the motherland. Oh my goodness. He told us exactly what we need to do. Any African American that does not uh, uh, watch what is going on in the motherland, this brother, Ibrahim Traore, is the only Pan African pro black leader I believe on earth, because he can guarantee the protection of his people by any means. And he's shown us that he's willing to do that. This brother is doing the ancestors' work in real time. He is 30, I think 35 now. We all should be watching him. But even if you don't, Pan Africans, Garveyites, all brothers and sisters, this man told us exactly what we should be doing on this app and any app. Y'all should be waking your people up. So I love that. I hope we all take heed.
That brother is Sankar reincarnated. You cannot tell me different.
You can't, bro. Bro, it's
That man is
wow.
Sankar reincarnated. And
Yup.
I wasn't even born doing Sankar. My mother was though. And she said she even cried over Sankar. And
Mm,
my mother has never been to the continent. And she said when she got news Sankar passed away, she said she was crying real deal tears.
mm-hmm. Yup.
Let's get this started, man. Do interracial relationships benefit the black community? Not at all. Not even just from a romance perspective. We could have, well, if it's a relationship like a friendship, they don't benefit. If it's a business relationship, it doesn't benefit. If it's a teammate relationship on some sports, it don't benefit. The prime example will be what Bill Russell and the other black players in the NBA face during that time. We have Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who also was another activist. Then you have bootlicking Wilt Chamberlain, who says, "Oh, why black women don't travel enough for me?" Wonder what he said about his own mama, but you know, Wilt gonna stilt, Wilt gonna buck. But yeah, they don't benefit the black community. They take away for the black community. You shouldn't be wanting to lay down with no cave woman. Shouldn't be wanting to lay down with no caveman. And you and your mother should have told you it's never all right to lay down with the devil. That's the main thing. Can non-black parents raise pro-black children? Ethically, no. What the I wish a white T woman or man would come up here and say, of course, and I support their cause. Yeah, if you would support, I'm gonna say that for the next question. But they can't raise pro-black children. You can't be a part of my oppressing group, and I'm your child. And you trying to talking about you keep up a lie with me. You got your fist in the air with me. Nuh-uh, not today, Susie. Get thee behind me, Satan. Can a non-pro-black, can a non-black person be pro-black? Not at all. They probably can be anti-racist, but hell, I don't even think they can be anti-racist. That's just me. But but if they okay, white tees, if y'all really want to prove y'all real, right? Be like John Brown, god damn it. Be like John Brown. Go take out Rockefeller. The same list, like how they come up these conspiracy theories, come on here with the Trilateral Commission, the Central Intelligence Agency, be making all these lists. Get that same list, go take them out, and maybe just maybe we'll think you're real. We still won't let you around us. We'll know that you're real. We'll know that you're
Mm-hmm.
real. Be like
Mm-hmm.
John Brown, damn it. Be like John Brown. But instead, they just want to sit around and march with us and sing with us, hold hands with us. You know what I'm saying? And then when it's all really time to do some nitty gritty, ain't none of these cave walking devils nowhere to be found. Nowhere to be found. Using us as cannon fodder like they always did. That's all they use us for. Cannon fodder.
Mm-hmm.
Can black and white culture peacefully coexist? Not at all. It will never peacefully coexist. They are wicked. The white T man, when we tried to teach them certain family values, they did what they did to us. A caveman never have certain family values. You see how they did the red man and the red woman when the red man and the red woman taught them certain family values, taught them agriculture, taught them how to survive on this land. They made a whole holiday about G-side talking about Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
Thanksgiving. They culture, they have no culture. They culture is war. They culture is G-side. They culture is grape. They culture is stealing. They are the biggest stealers, the biggest deceivers, the biggest robbers, the biggest the M word, biggest illers on the planet. You can't coexist with this beast. You can't coexist with this devil. There'll be a devil. There was the devil before any of us was here. There'll be the devil after all of us are gone, even after they gone. Reject Satan, brothers and sisters. If they come up in your face talking about multicultural, you look the devil in the eyes and say, "Get thee behind me, Satan."
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
Absolutely.
like I said in the past, to end it off, for any brothers and sisters that's in an interracial relationship, I hope one day y'all wake up in the night and OJ Simpson won't have nothing on y'all. Y'all wake up, do what y'all do, and make sure that they wig come off. I rest my case.
All right, brother Chaka. Man, I don't know how you 21 years old talking about Will Chamberlain and Kareem Abdul. You yo, Shaka is a psyop,
Love
bro.
it.
Like
Jock have been here
He
before.
gets
We
all
know
my
that.
respect, man.
Shaka been here before. Shaka been here before. Absolutely, man. I love that brother, man.
Put in the chat, he's 21. Like, can't believe it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just a Lakers fan. That's the only reason I know about him. I'm a
Yeah,
Lakers fan, but I did
and,
research on Wilt and
well,
seen that he said that quote, and I always wonder why him and Kareem had a feud, and now I know why. Wilt Chamberlain ain't nothing but another buck dancing, bam boop. Ooh, let me stop.
I know. Yep.
I can't,
Well,
and I'm hurt because my favorite basketball player is guilty of interracial marriage. I love Kobe Bryant. He my favorite player of all time, but I gotta keep it real.
yeah.
Kobe sold us out.
Yep.
Jordan did too. I'm
Yeah. Oh
sorry.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah.
one reason why I respect LeBron. Kind of got more respect for LeBron because at least he stayed with a black woman since high
Yeah.
school.
Right. And that's how you know it's real. Like that's just how you know it's real. That's how you know he actually respects her. And when it comes to Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, the reason they did that was because they have to signal to the patriarchy, the white patriarchy in charge of the NBA, that they are not a threat. And one way they do that is by aligning themselves with capitalism and aligning themselves with women in the community of the oppressor. So that's another thing, you know.
Yeah, you think Kobe would have learned his lesson after that case he caught? You think he
Right,
would have learned his lesson?
right. Kobe had a chance with Beyonce or something at one point, right? Am I tripping?
Nah, it was Brandy. Brandy
Brandy.
from the show
Brandy, that's right,
Brandy.
Brandy. Yeah,
He took her to prom in high school. Like I said, I love Kobe Bryant. You know what I'm saying? I just gotta keep it real.
yeah, that's a shame. Yeah, so somebody asked what is pro-black. Pro-black is prioritizing one's actions and values with what's in the best interest of building within the black community. We're talking intentionally constructive building within the black community. So prioritizing that has never been something that's been done by anyone non-black. And actually, if all black people were pro-black, then we wouldn't need the word pro-black. So even in our own community, everyone is not prioritizing our community. So to sit here and seriously tell me that y'all believe someone outside of our community is prioritizing our community is extremely disingenuous, because we don't even do it. I wouldn't even say half the time. I would say 80% of the time. I would even say 90% of the time. To be honest, I would say 80% of us have, no, 20% of us have the rhetoric down and we come on TikTok and talk. But another 10% is the only ones that's actually putting in work. So big up to y'all. And now, as I stated earlier, Ibrahim Traore has given a direct order to Pan Africans, the African diaspora. He has told y'all, go on these social media sites, go on your Twitter, your whatever you got, your Facebook, whatever. It's time to wake our people up. Pan African propaganda is at an all-time high. We have now got a direct order from a Pan African president in Africa who has invited us and encouraged us and told us directly to start to wake our brothers and sisters up. If you are not doing something constructive for your community and you do have a TikTok, you do have a page, then now is the time for you to start getting vocal about your community. Start to help raise the consciousness of our people, because it's happening whether you like it or not, whether they like it or not, rather. So you know what I'm saying? And that's what the purpose of this whole live is, to get people to think critically. All are invited to come up and talk about any of the questions up above. We are going to make sure that the conversation is productive, somewhat educational, especially for the brothers and sisters down below in the comments. We're not here to debate, we're here to discuss. Um, this conversation is about interracial relationships. Are they problematic? Are they harmful? Are they beneficial? What has it done to the black community since Loving versus Virginia? What positive effects have we seen? Appreciate you, Russell Fenn, for the bear, and Sister Knotless as well. But yeah, can non-black parents raise pro-black children? Transracial adoption, in my opinion, should be illegal. It's a remnant of slavery. It is not a system that was set up by black women to have a system in place by which they would be able to have someone take care of their children, but rather a system set up by white women in order to have ownership over black children. That being the case, transracial adoption should be illegal. That should not be a thing. The videos y'all make about transracial adoption is cringy as hell, and y'all don't know what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? It's really bad. Um, and also, no one that's not pro-black themselves can raise pro-black children. You can create a hostile environment to lead someone to consciousness out of a need for survival, of course, you know what I'm saying? You can scare someone straight, I guess. But that's not the same thing as raising them to be pro-black. Can a non-black person be pro-black? Absolutely not. We have never seen that in the history of racial oppression since it got started. There has never been a non-black pro-black person. Pro-blackness prioritizing one's actions and values with the best interests of building within the black community. We've seen people prioritize racism to a certain degree, not to any degree that has had any effect on the level of oppression faced by black people. Like Shaka said, John Brown um, uh, showed y'all a blueprint of what it could look like, but not to the effect where he was able to bring about systemic change. He definitely inspired people to, speak more and maybe think more critically, but he didn't end slavery. So that's something that I think y'all need to work on. We don't got much to do with that. Racism is a white problem that affects black people, not a black problem. Can black and white culture peacefully coexist? There has never been a time in human history where any culture has been able to peacefully coexist with the white/European culture. It has never happened. There's never been a place that has gone untouched by white culture where the people have haven't had their culture destroyed, exploited, appropriated, mishandled, or just straight up taken away from them. The wildest thing for me, honestly, is the fact that KFC is worldwide. Like, you can go to Japan, you can go to Germany, you can go to different places, and you can see that they have KFC, Kentucky Fried Chicken. And it's just funny because it should be called BFC. It should be called Black Fried Chicken, because seasoned fried chicken is a black survival food. That's a food that we perfected, we came up with, and it's kind of wild that they put a white man's face on the side of the box and appropriated that whole thing. That's just one example of appropriation, where our culture was straight up stolen from us. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all are not going to see um, a picture of I don't know, Kobe Bryant on the side of a Taco Bell box or something like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just not culturally, they're not culturally relevant. I don't know who the hell Colonel Sanders was, or who he thought he was, but that's just one blatant uh, aspect of appropriation. Food is part of culture, y'all. When it comes to culture, you got food, you got religion. Christianity is not a European religion. It became Europeanized, but it started as an African spiritual practice, still going all the way back to uh, Judaism and Yahwism and the ancient Kemetic religions. So that's another thing. So we can get into it, stealing people from their land, stealing people's land. But yeah, Timothy D, one of y'all wanted to say something?
I was gonna say about Colonel Sanders. They did say he stole a recipe from a black woman.
Oh, okay. There we go.
That's definitely what they said. All right. So I'm gonna need y'all to tap the screen. Can we get some flames in the chat if you're here, you're listening, and you're live? Hold on one second. Hello, and welcome in. You are in Brother Legends Live. I need you to tap that screen. Tap, tap, tap. Power, tap that screen. Tap the screen, share the live. Invite your friends, invite your enemies. Hell, invite the poont enemies. But make sure that you're active in the chat. Drop some flames if you're here, you're listening, and you want to come up. Tap the screen, share the live, and most importantly, make sure you subscribe here and on YouTube, as well as following Brother Legend on Twitter. I need you guys to make sure that you're coming a part of b1initiative.org, where we're building with Black people, for Black people, about Black people. Hello. And tune in and donate. If you heard about Sankofapedia, then you know that Black people are working on a project that needs your help. If you have the time, energy, and efforts, tune in, turn up, and hit us up. If you don't have the time, energy, or efforts, but you got the funds, donate, hun. And Brother Legend will be adding the Cash App, as well as you can subscribe to b1initiative.org and get the newsletter and see what's happening, what's going on. Tune in and turn up. Black people building with and for Black people, y'all. Now, make sure that y'all tune in and make sure y'all subscribe. But most importantly, make sure y'all are tapping this live. All right, until we meet again, I'm tapping out. You tap up.
Appreciate you, D. Yeah, so keep tapping alive. We really appreciate y'all. Appreciate you, me, myself, and I, with the movie of the day, the under the sea movie of the day. Appreciate you.
Oh gosh, please don't sing that song. About to traumatize me all over again.
I didn't watch it. I didn't watch that last one, man. I couldn't do it. Once I found out she was looking for her white king, I was over. I was over it.
Bro, that whole film was one giant interracial propaganda film. Like it was exactly that. Just as bad as everybody claims it to be, being like that, it was that. Like yeah,
Wow.
that's
Yeah, that shit reminded me of that time. I forgot what Shaka Zulu movie it was, but I think it was the movie where he was like on the slave ship, and like no other white T man could get Shaka Zulu to calm down, right? Well, nah, to eat the food. But you telling me this little blue eyed white T woman can just get this man to eat Shaka fucking Zulu, bruh?
yeah. I saw that scene. That shit. I'm like, all right, I'm not liking how too buddy buddy he is with everybody. That's clearly an enemy. Like, and then at the end of the, well, okay, never mind. I'm not gonna say the whole ending, but yeah, it's just I
I,
feel you. Yeah,
I
I
know
mean,
the
you
end
can
of
say
Tristan.
it because I'm not watching it, but maybe someone down there will. I don't know. I ain't never watching that movie. I'm keeping it far away from my daughter or my son when I have one. I'm not entertaining that movie. Do you have an advice or anything to say to us mixed with black and white? There's no such thing as mixed with black and white. You either black and you mixed, or you just black. Like you could just be black. Um,
yeah.
yeah.
Like Alicia. Yeah. Elysian. I think is how you say your name. Yeah, it's yeah. We unapologetically need to stand within the celebration of our Africanity, and advice would be that not to reject the other side of your family, because obviously still your family, but at the end of the day, um, the world is going to see us as black people, and we operate through this world as black people. So at the end of the day, our loyalty and our responsibility is to the black community. So yeah, that's yeah, yeah. So that's where our loyalties are at, family. So that's where we got to stand.
The tough
I,
thing is I'm being raised by a white tea woman.
I,
Ooh,
I
yeah,
bet
That,
it
that,
that, that
is.
we can tell by the first question. We could tell by
yeah.
All I
the
got,
first question. If
all I
you
gotta say is dominant and recessive. No.
Hey, I'm greedy.
peace, Sean Weezy, give us your age, race, and pronouns.
Hi, everybody.
Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you guys.
Give us your age. How old are you?
Oh, I'm 30.
What is your race?
I'm an African.
All right. And what are your pronouns?
I'm a male.
All right, talk to us.
Um, I don't know much, but I saw the description on the screen here. It was talking about the interracial relationship, if it benefit the black community or not. Um, I don't know. I won't just generalize it to say that it benefits uh, black people, because most of the mixed kids, even in Africa here, most of them don't really bother to know the things we go through, because their other parents don't really put them through those lanes. They rather go to college, go to university, and become engineers and lawyers and politicians, and that's all. They don't go through the struggles, through the hustles and everything that we, the black people or African people, go through in the society. They don't go through those steps, and they don't know much about their culture. So that's how I will put it. I won't say they are not really from our community, but they don't really do the necessary things they need to do. That's how I'll put it.
Hmm. Well, that's interesting. Are you from South Africa?
No, I'm from Nigeria.
Okay. Um, well, that's even more interesting. So you're saying that because they mix, they go to college and they forget about black oppression in Nigeria?
Of course, of course, of course. Most of them don't even come back home to even know the history or the things that we go through. Most of them, not all, but most of them don't really do that. So
So what do you think about African Americans?
African Americans are like Africans. I mean, that's no different. The things we are going in Africa, they are also going the same thing in America. So it's not different.
So one way you're saying that because African Americans go through the same things as Africans, they are African. But then the other one, you're saying mixed black people that they don't know what Africans go through, and so that's why they're not black or African.
No, I didn't say that they are African. For the fact that
Mm.
they mix with African means they are African. Even 1% of Africa can make you African. But what I'm saying is that even in America, there, if you look at like somebody like Drake, for example,
Mm.
he's a mixed child, but he doesn't know anything about African American. He doesn't know anything about the struggles of black people in America. Even in his music, you can tell it doesn't reflect. That's what I mean. It's not like they are not black, but most of them, because their white parents
Mm.
will not want them to really associate with the community like they want to. Even like to them, they may want to, but their parents will not want them to, do something like that.
Mhm. Mhm.
That's what I'm saying. It's not like I'm disqualifying them from being an African. No, they are Africans, but the struggle is not in them. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, I hear that. That's part. I mean, I don't think we can generalize for them either, but I think for the most part, I understand what you're saying. They especially when they have a white mother, a lot of
Yes,
times they don't get it.
yeah.
Hmm.
Even when they have white father too, you know, because the mix can be both. It can be with the white mother or with the white father as well.
Well, it's a little bit different with a white father, because the mother usually passes down the culture to the child. When a black woman has a child by a white man, she tells the child, "You are black like me." When a white woman has a child by a black man, she tells the child, "You're biracial, you're mixed," because she refuses to acknowledge that she had nothing to do with the melanin content of this child. She has to include herself. So she has to tell the child, I refuse to believe you're just black. I have to make you black and white. Even though the world will treat that child as black, the world doesn't care. Like if you're not white, you're whatever makes you not white. Like if you're not white because you have an Indian parent, and guess what? You're Indian. If you're not white because you have a, any race. I mean, Indian is a nationality, of course, but a South Asian, whatever. You're Asian. Like, whatever makes you not white is the race that you are. Especially here in America, that's how it's worked for a long time. But yeah, so it could also happen, of course, like you said, with the father. It's just we've noticed that people like Drake usually happen because Drake doesn't have a connection to black culture because he wasn't raised by a black woman. You know, generally a black woman is going to raise you as black. His mother raised him as Jewish. So
Okay. I think I'm learning something new because to me, I think like both of them can still do the same thing. That's But now you tell me that they are different between when a black woman raises a mixed child and when a white man, you know.
every child wants to be close to their mother. So
Yeah, yeah,
so
yeah,
think
yeah.
of,
That's
so
true.
so so think of this. You a white woman has a child by a black man. She tells
Mm-hmm.
the child, "You are mixed. You are biracial," but she is white. So the black woman says, "You're the same as me. We're both black." But the white woman says, "You're mixed. You're biracial," because she knows you ain't white. you know. So
Mm,
so that makes the child feel like a separation between them and their mother. And so now the child feels that separation, and also when the child grows up into the world, their blackness is something that they experience through oppression, through discrimination, through negative, harmful stereotypes, things that affect them negatively. So then they begin to associate their blackness with unfair treatment. So that's why, even in Drake's response to Kendrick, you see like he goes straight to freeing the slaves, and he only knows blackness through oppression because
yeah.
he doesn't understand about, like you said, about African culture and customs, and the dances, the foods, the way we worship. Like
Mm,
no matter if you worship Ifa, worship through Ifa, or acknowledge your ancestors, or
mm,
go to church on Sunday.
mm.
African people have a certain way we worship, certain things that we do all in common. And it's just to them, when they try to come around black people and show off that they black, they start saying the N word. They start mimicking the ways that they've been mistreated as a caricature or like a costume for blackness.
Mm.
And that's Dr. Frances Cress Welsing is a clinical psychologist who really broke this down in her book, The ISIS Papers. If you want to check that out, but yeah, The ISIS Papers. It's a good book on this.
I'm so happy that you commented on that because that was the only thing that I'm not in America. I don't really know much about rap history, but that line when he said that Kendrick was rapping like he's gonna free the slave, it really touched me because I knew that rap was actually built by slavery. It's like people telling their history. It's like people telling what they have been going through in a country that they feel like they're supposed to be part of that country because
Mm-hmm.
they built this country. And then somebody that said that he liked this culture and he want to be part of this culture comes and say, oh, you are talking like you want to save these people, but literally you know that this culture was built on the back of slavery. It was descendant of the slave people that built this culture of rap, and it was just for them to express themselves. The things they can't say out loud, they can say it through their music.
Mm-hmm.
That's what rap is to me. That's what rap is to me. It's not just
Definitely.
singing, it's just people having conversation. That's why most of rap can be a freestyle. It's just having conversation, it's just talking in a
Mm-hmm.
different way. So for him to make that comment makes me nah. I'd be like, you've crossed line. Why would you say that? That's the whitest thing you can say in this world.
Right. We would never say that. Like
Yes,
black
if
people would never say that.
no, if black people cannot say that to themselves because they are from the same place. It's
And you
like
notice.
it's like me seeing you and calling you a black. I'm black too, so I can't just say that. I can say other things. We can debate on other things, but that is a red line. Because
Mhm.
if a white person said that to me in my face, I will punch him for
Right.
real.
If
You know,
Drake said that to me,
so
I'll punch him.
so that
But yeah.
makes me disqualify him totally. I was like, no, you are really for this culture because of the money you are getting from it. If the money stopped today, you cannot be a rapper the next day.
Yeah.
That
Right.
is the truth. So I think that most mixed people or most mixed children need to, you know, be more rooted. Even if they don't know, they should ask questions for people
Mhm.
to explain to them about what being a black in America is all about. I don't know, but I've seen YouTube's, I've seen news. I watch news, CNN, BBC, all of this. I've seen so many social media. I've been seeing things going on in America. I was like, no, these
Mhm.
people look exactly like me, and this looks similar to the things we be facing back home too as well you
Mhm.
know so I can relate easily, but these other people, they find it a little bit difficult for them to even the places they hang out is different. It's between white people, among themselves. you
Mhm.
can you can you can tell. So they are
Yeah.
not really beneficiary to their community, and they don't build anything for the community. They don't. They rather go to Beverly Hills and build and buy mansions there.
Well, that's the thing because of the white mother, they seek a proximity to whiteness that they never had access to. So they spend a lot of their life running from their blackness because they see it as a source of pain and something that held them back from being in the same social category as their mother, and so they consistently try to gain access to whiteness, which will never happen because they were not meant to be included in that space. But yeah,
And
yeah,
most of them comes when it's beneficiary for them, when there is gain, when they are gaining something. That's when they like to
yeah,
feel like they are black people too. But once
right.
it's time for real challenge, they will just disappear. You won't
Absolutely.
see you
One
won't
thing I'll
see them.
definitely say is that, I mean, yeah, that very much so does happen, and um, there's a lot of brothers and sisters that very much so are black people, but they are very misguided and miseducated into thinking that if they just abide by YT supremacist constructs and ideologies just enough, then maybe one of these days they'll be accepted into their societies. But in reality, um, people that have that type of background, that still black African people, but have at least one European parent, um, they very much so. Uh, there is certain benefits that do go along with, or at least certain privileges that YT supremacy very much so deliberately instills with individuals that have a lighter skin complexion. So there's absolutely the colorism that goes in with that. Brothers and sisters that have that type of background are less mistreated. They still very much so are treated as black people, but it's very, very important that we acknowledge that our more melanated brothers and sisters are the brunt and the full target of every single thing that we are seeing and directed towards black people.
Hmm.
And it's yeah, it's the reality of the situation. It's something that it is our responsibility to acknowledge, and it's very much so our responsibility to make sure that we are educating ourselves out of that whole, like, thinking that we are better than just because of our proximity to whiteness, when in reality, I mean, it's not biologically beneficial. It's in and of itself, it's not who. the world is going to see you as. They're going to see you as a black person. So it's your responsibility to educate yourself in knowing who you are as a black person, in knowing the history behind your people, in knowing how you can unapologetically celebrate your Africanity and know how to navigate these spaces. Because yeah, it's you have to navigate them in a different way. Because I've never actually, matter of fact, I've never had more YT people tell me that I'm not black than when I started prioritizing black. Like when I was completely silent about it, when I was like, oh yeah, no, I'm just, well, not completely silent because I've always like, at least in some way, shape, or form, said something about it. But the more times that I was more laxed and they saw me as one of the good ones, so called, you don't hear a peep from them. But the moment that you start prioritizing the black community as a black person yourself, that's when you see all the comments, all the direct messages, all the in-person comments. Oh, well, but you're not even really black. Oh, well, you're not even really that. That's when you start seeing them question who you are, trying to instill a sense of, oh, you're not even really black. It's the moment you start prioritizing the black community. That's when they start doing that. So it's a divide and conquer, y'all. That's all they're trying to do.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you for that, Brother Timothy. And he does have the book, The ISIS Papers by Dr. Frances Cress Welsing. That's her down there. This is the book that we were talking about that discusses this topic a lot more, the framework of racism, white supremacy as a system concept. Yeah, thank you for sharing that, Brother Sean. Let me go to the next guest. Kaylee, give us your age, your race, and your pronouns, please.
I am 36, she, her. Race, my culture calls me Didakai. Probably closest would be South Asian mixed with white, depending on what you consider Romani people's race to be.
Well, you got one race, so what are you?
I'm Romani.
That's not a
But
race.
people, yeah, that's the problem. Everybody says no, so South Asian, I guess.
If you get pulled over, they're gonna say you Asian.
They're gonna say I'm a gypsy, is what they're gonna say.
If you stole someone's TV, they're gonna call you a gypsy.
Yes. When I
That is a
was
damn lie.
when I was
I never heard a cop say, "We got a gypsy on the run, girl. Hey guys, we got the lady from the Hunchback of Notre Dame just stole a television set." No one's gonna say that. Stop playing with me.
when I reported my child sexual abuse, I was called a gypsy whore who was trying to get a good white boy in trouble.
Yeah, you white. All right, go ahead, talk to us.
No, I don't think that any interracial marriage can help a minority community. In my culture, in Romani culture, there was a time when there were laws specifically in certain countries where Romani people could not have children with other Romani people. It was literally illegal to get married or have children with other Romani people. It was specifically done as a type of G-side.
Yeah, I don't feel like it, y'all. I don't feel like it. That's another thing too. Is when they come up, sometimes I'm not gonna feel like it. Have fun being Romani from Romania, Roman. like what? That don't make no sense.
Man, look,
Like, go play in somebody else's face, man. Stop playing with me, man. Like,
I'm a gypsy. Nah.
they're gonna call me a gypsy. Like,
I thought she said Egyptian at first. I was about to say, what?
come on, man. Go play in somebody else's face, man. Don't, please, y'all don't come up
Hey,
here
look,
and
that
be
small time
disingenuous.
stuff don't work on us.
Yeah, come on now. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm sure you white when it suits you. You don't tell everybody, "Oh, hi, I'm a gypsy." Like, you don't stop playing with me, bro. Like when you
They
go to get
trying
a
to use like
home loan, the
they gonna trying to guilt like try to ask like a bad situation in there to get you to feel sorry for 'em.
right,
Like,
yeah. When I was like,
come
stop it,
on.
man. Yo, get out of here, man. I can't. Yo, I especially can't with the Karens, bro. I'm gonna be honest. Like the white tea men get on my nerves too, but I think they're just mostly like illiterate. Like the white tea women try to like intellectualize dumbassery, and it gets on my nerves. Like they try to find some way to distance themselves from their whiteness. They'll tell you they're neurodivergent, or I'm a lesbian, or I'm a gypsy. Like, I wear, I'm Jewish. Like, they'll try to find some way to fit into some oppressed category so that we can't have an honest conversation with them about their whiteness. Like, and there's even been a poll study that was done on this by Harvard that said white Asian biracial children, nine times, like, not 9 times out of 10, but that's not what it said, but it said most likely to be able to pass as white if they don't say nothing. And so you're telling me that this white tea woman is walking around telling everybody she's a gypsy? Like, that's the only way you would know. I'm looking at her avatar, I'm looking at your profile picture. You don't look like no damn gypsy I ever seen. Like, stop playing in my face, man. Even if you was, that's still white. Like, it's ridiculous.
Exactly. It's like they're trying to qualify themselves to jump into the conversation by saying that they're a part of all these oppressed groups, and it's weird. It is so weird. It's just, hey, let me center myself in this conversation, and let me tell you all the things that I've been through, so that way you, for some reason, that now qualifies me to be able to speak on an issue that is very specific to a demographic that I'm not a part of. Like,
Yeah, like, let me show you how I don't fit into the white box and center that in a conversation about oppression so that you can't say I'm one of the oppressors. And now that I've taken your attention from the focus of this conversation, let me teach you history lessons about a people you don't give a damn about. Like, I'm not sitting up here talking about Romani culture. Why are you giving us history lessons? Well, yes, back in the day with Romani culture, like, I don't want to hear none of that. We ain't coming up here to talk about that. I don't get it, bro. We ain't come up here to talk about y'all little specific ethnic backgrounds. We know a Yankee when we see one. All right. Jelly Bean, what's good, sis?
What's going on, y'all? I'm gonna just brush past the first two, because the last two are the important pieces for myself. Do interracial relationship? No. Can non-black? Let's be serious. Let's look at Madonna and Charlize Theron. They can't raise black kids. They're making them weird. Can a non-black person be pro-black? No. If you are not black trying to be pro-black, one, you're a race traitor, which is weird. Two, that doesn't make sense. You can't, it doesn't make sense for you to not be something and be pro them. Like, that just doesn't make sense. Can black and white culture peacefully exist? Black and white culture are antitheses of each other. And so, as weird as it might sound, they don't, especially in modern times, they don't exist without each other, but they also don't peacefully exist. And my reason for saying that is, again, I'm thinking modern times, not ancient times, but I'm thinking modern times. Black American culture is the antithesis of white American culture, and they both feed off of each other, and they've never peacefully existed, yet they both still exist. So I don't think that they need to be peaceful in order to coexist, because they're going to coexist regardless of the peace. And in fact, for the cultures to exist, that peace can't really be there. That's not like a thing, because they're opposites. So
What two
if
cultures?
if they exist peacefully, that means that they've assimilated and muddled into each other, and that's not no. So I think that's kind of I think that's a good question, first off, and I think that the answer is very much no. White and black culture does not peacefully coexist. It will never peacefully coexist, but they will never exist without the other one existing.
I think that
So,
was a valid response. I think that was a valid response because she did clarify that she means in modern times. When I wrote that question, and usually how it's answered is including Black culture as African culture going back to pre-colonization. But when you made the distinction of saying in modern times, then yes, absolutely, because black culture, is the rejection of white supremacy and the retention of Africanity. So that being the case, it wouldn't exist without that initial rejection. Um, so it would exist in a different form, but it wouldn't be black culture. It would be an extension of African culture in the West, which it is, but it wouldn't exist as black culture. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, and then their culture can't exist without blackness, of course. In the book Afro Pessimism by Frank D. Wilderson, he talks about how blackness is needed by those that oppress us in order to validate their existence, because whiteness is not real, so they need blackness in order to feel like whiteness is real. So that's real. That's real, Jelly. Thank you for that contribution to the conversation, sister.
Yeah.
All right. Let me go to the next guest. I'm trying to fast track out of here. My wife is giving me a side eye. Mr. Facts Straight, give us your age, your race, and your pronouns, please.
Yes, I'm black, 32, and you can refer to me as he.
All right, talk to us, brother.
Yes. Well, the first one, I don't agree. I don't feel like interrelationships, interrelationship, interracial relationships benefit the black community at all. I don't think so. The second one, can non-black parents raise pro-black children? Yes, I agree. I believe they can. And the third one, can a black person be pro-black? Yeah, I think they be pro-black too. And I've seen that in just when I did research in history with history. So,
When does that
and then the
happen?
last one,
Wait, hold
huh?
on. You said you researched it in history. I've been researching history for years. I've never found a pro-black, non-black person. Could you please enlighten me?
Yeah, John Brown. Look up John
Nah,
Brown.
okay, yeah, he wasn't pro-black. He's anti-racist. I see.
Anti-racist.
Yeah, I see what you mean. He was focused on dismantling a system of oppression created by his people. If white people fixing their own problem, that ain't got nothing to do with us. They started that problem. They started racism. That ain't pro-black. Pro-black is coming to build with us, not tearing down what your people done started.
Okay, so you don't feel like. Okay, so what is pro? What's your definition of pro-black?
Prioritizing, meaning your focus, whatever your mission in life is, prioritizing your interests in alignment with building with black people, prioritizing one's best interest. I'm sorry, prioritizing one's actions and goals with what's in the best interest of building within the black community.
Okay, so when it comes to freeing our people or saving our people from oppression, you don't think that's pro-black?
I don't believe John Brown was doing that to free our people.
No, no, no. I asked you a
I'm
specific
sorry, my
question. I'm
phone
saying
went
like when
off.
it comes to us freeing our people, freeing black people from oppression, do you think it's pro-black? Do you yes or no?
The act of it is to the benefit of black people. However, again, you cannot really hold the title of being pro-black unless you are in the entirety of your life prioritizing the building and uplifting of the black community globally, like, well, the
Well,
black community. So it's just you
well,
can't.
to me, the whole thing was due to, like you said, because of this racist system. When dude was saving, rescuing black people from slavery, specifically, he was doing it because of the color of their skin and the oppression that they was going through because of it.
He was
So to
doing
me, that was
he
pro.
was doing it.
That's pro.
He was
That
doing it.
very act is showing.
Listen,
Um,
he was doing it because his own personal conviction, based off of his religious beliefs, drove him to do that. He felt as though that it was his divine purpose to do this. I swear before God. He literally like is on record as talking about, I swear before God that I'm gonna like free these people, that I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna dedicate the rest of my life to this, which is cool, it's admirable, but the only reason why he did that was because of his spiritual convictions that were like weighing down on him. He felt as though that he wouldn't be able to have a decent conversation with his creator based off of Christianity, which is in of itself a tool of the oppressor as well. And also, if he was working to the
I
best
feel like we
interest
kind
of
of
the
going
black
into
people,
semantics. I mean, it's just because think
it's
about
not
it like
about
this:
semantics,
when it
brother. It's
when it
if
comes to
if all right, if you think that the benefit of the entirety of the black community is to hold up a single military base with a handful with a handful of basically either runaways or people that were already recently freed, and
Because
then
you
to be
can't get other
told
white people to do it with you. But go ahead.
Yep. And then to be told
I have a question.
by Frederick Douglass, and then to be told by Frederick Douglass to not do that, and yet still decide, yeah, I'm gonna do it anyway, regardless of what Frederick Douglass says. Then, like, I mean, come on, bro. Like
That's
it's
revisionist
just a
history.
little
That's
deeper
I'm gonna have
than
to
revisionist.
what
look
it
up.
is.
That's
I'm gonna have to
hold
look
on,
up
hold
the
on. That's
definition for.
that's
But let me say
revisionist
this. Let me
history,
say this. Hold on,
Timothy.
hold on. Let me say this. Let me say this. Let me say this. I'm gonna have to look up the definition for pro-black. But in my mind, from my opinion, uh, to me, pro-black is just be freeing your people from oppression.
No,
To
that
me,
No,
that
there's
to me,
more
that's
to it. We
no, but
can't
it's
go based
All right,
off of your
all right,
all right.
opinion.
real quick.
Hold on,
Can I please
Timothy.
that's the
interject this history real quick, if you don't mind?
All right, yeah, he's a
Um,
historian. Go ahead.
so so when you say what was John Brown's mission, and when you talk about the Frederick Douglass conversation, Frederick Douglass was actually scared to do it. With
Oh,
Harvey Garnett wanted to do and everything else. So he wasn't going against Frederick Douglass. Frederick Douglass told him what would happen if he does it. Frederick Douglass even gave him money to actually go ahead and do it. So Frederick Douglass was not against what John Brown was doing. He was just trying to say there's going to be repercussions and it's going to fall on
gotcha.
the black community if you're caught. Now, what John Brown's mission was to take over the arsenal, get the weapons, escape to the hilltop, and he wanted to elect Frederick Douglass as the president of black people, and he wanted them to have their own black establishment. So in a way, that would be pro-black because he was not trying to control it. He was just trying to say, "Hey, we want y'all black people to get there, and I'm gonna leave y'all alone." John Brown was gonna let black people govern themselves once they got there and got free and was able to protect themselves. One thing that black people never had was a place where we can protect ourselves. That was his mission, was to get us to a place where we can now protect ourselves in the hills. So I would beg to differ that he had a pro-black thing to it. And if you
All right,
and
but listen,
also
yeah.
but
When
check
I
this
looked up
out.
the,
and
let me
and
read
the
this to
last thing,
y'all. Let me read.
Hold on, hold on, hold on.
Matt, hold on. And you cannot talk John Brown's story without talking about the five black men who fought with him. And so therefore that's the only way you really can truly tell the story of John Brown is talk about the five black men who fought in his raid.
Gotcha.
Okay,
Okay.
so here's the thing. If I told you I was going to get you $1 million, and I tried as hard as I could to get you $1 million, but that $1 million never hit your account, would you say, I was successful? Would you say that that was a righteous endeavor? Would you say, like, you know what I'm saying? Like John Brown didn't succeed in his mission. So to say that a white man that failed is able to be pro-black because you know we agree with what he was trying to do. I think that's setting the bar really low. That's like saying Eminem is the greatest rapper ever. You know what I'm saying? Like that's like, and then on top of that, pro-blackness. Now, anti-racism for black people by black people can be a pro-black endeavor because when it's used to in the best interest of our survival, in the context of racism, white supremacy, then that itself could be pro-black when it's used to our survival. But it should not be our focus. We cannot change the system of racism, white supremacy. That's the whole premise of oppression. Is that we
I'm
can't we alone
Well,
can.
brother,
Please
I got
don't
this
interrupt
question
me.
for you.
I'm sorry.
No, I know I got a question for you.
Uh,
I guess my question would be, um, he did not do any of that without talking and going to speak to every single major black freedom fighter at the time. He talked to
mhm.
Garnett. He went to he talked to Delaney. He spoke to Harriet Tubman. He spoke to Frederick Douglass. In fact, at the Frederick Douglass meeting is how he got the Emperor of New York to go with him
As any
because
good
when
anti-racist should.
right. And so what I'm saying is, if he did it on his own whim, I would understand. But he did
No,
this
no, I'm
and
not.
got the black. Right. I know what I know what you're saying. I'm saying, so what I'm getting at is what type of pro-black is not when he's saying, I want y'all to build your own. I want y'all to do this your own. Yeah, he came up short. We got it, he came up short. We
We
understand he
wouldn't
came up.
have to do it
But
our own if his people didn't create this system in the first place. If I have a dog that comes and takes a number two on your bed, and then I clean it up, did I do you a favor? Pro-blackness is prioritizing one's actions and values with the best interest of building within the black community, despite what's in the best interest of the white T community. But that's also something that only black people can do because John Brown would not do something to the detriment of his own community. Like that's the thing. Freeing black people to still live in a place where you kidnap them is not pro-black. That's anti-racist, and that's a great thing that he's supposed to do that. He's
okay,
supposed to do that.
I hear what you're saying, but
Yeah.
you said, no, you said detriment his own people.
Uh,
When you go back to the Kansas Missouri wars, he took people's head off. I'm
Yeah,
just trying
but
to say this.
family, what
No,
he's
I'm saying
supposed to
he.
be doing the things that
No,
he
no,
ended
what I'm
up
saying.
doing in order to try
But,
to
uh,
but you're saying,
destabilize
but you're
the
saying
let
not
me
for
system
say
the
of
sake of
something,
the
oppression and
gentlemen. Let
people.
me say
slavery. Like
something real fast.
that's well, hold on. At the end of the day, what John Brown did is something that he was already supposed to be doing. Like that in and of itself, he was supposed to have done that. So we can't even classify that as being pro-black because again, you that's not prioritizing the black community or the benefiting of the black community. What that is just doing, that's literally him just doing what he is supposed to morally be doing as a human being. He should have already as every other YT person has responsibility to do is to dismantle these systems. So he was already doing what he was supposed to be doing. However, black people, us, we are the only ones that can really hold on to that classification of being pro-black because we're the only ones that are in a position where it's a it's atrocities that are being done to us and it's our responsibility to educate ourselves out of that nonsense, but we're the only ones that can really be fully prioritizing the black community
Well,
to the
then
extent
Timothy,
of where we're doing whatever's
then
best for us,
Timothy, you talk long.
regardless
You
of.
talk long every time you go. Timothy, you talk really long, man.
But okay, all right. But at the
Then can
same
we say this?
time, is my
Then can we
point
say
valid
he's
or is it not
pro-humanity?
valid?
Then can we say he's pro-humanity?
You could say
Yeah.
he's anti-racist, maybe pro-humanity. Okay,
I mean, no, I'm saying can we say he's pro-humanity?
Yeah.
pro-humanity, anti-racist. Yeah, but is he pro-black? No, he'll never be able to be that.
The
If we're
thing
saying that
about
pro-black,
pro-black,
no, if we're saying pro-black is only reserved for black people, then can we
Yep.
say he's at least pro-humanity?
Yeah, we already
yes.
established it. Yes, pro-humanity, anti-racist. Yes, we've already. Yes, I
I
already
mean,
said yes.
I'll concede to that. I can say it's pro-humanity, but he's seen human beings and black people, not objects like other people. And you keep on saying he's supposed to. If you talk about racist being a social construct, then he's supposed to be racist. So he's not doing what he's supposed to do. He's going against everything he's supposed to do.
He's still inherently racist. Like
Well,
it
I
took
would
him a
say, I
while
would
to be
say,
able.
when we say,
Go ahead, go ahead.
well, hold on. So I would say, when we say what he's supposed to do, we mean as a human being. When you see others oppressed, with a human being with a sense of justice, justice being where people are mistreated unfairly. Those people are, given the most attention and the guarantee of nonviolence, like, a equitable environment. So, at the end of the day, I could look at John Brown and say he was absolutely anti-racist. His community started that problem. His community should be the ones finishing it. And they should do that at the behest and direction of those that they oppressed to cause the least harm. Absolutely. But John Henrik Clarke also said any people that start their history with slavery sees everything else as progress. It is not progress. Pro black is taking us from 0 to 100. Anti racism takes us from negative 100 to 0. Anti-racism is a zero-sum game. Us gaining our humanity, something that was never taken from us, but just not acknowledged, is not putting us ahead. Pro-blackness is us competing in the world ecosystem in our own best interests. Anti-racism is just putting us on a fair playing field, and that is wonderful. John Brown did that, but he didn't advance us. He didn't bring us, even us reconnecting to our African roots. That's something that I would see as pro-black, because that's something that's never happened before, where Africans that's been off the continent for 400 years are now being reconnected back to the diaspora, and all identifying and flying under one banner, red, black, and green. That's a new plus for the black race. But
Then that's a nuance. And I have this question, brother Legend. Then, and if you're using that right there as a measuring tool, which I could agree 100%. But if we're going to use that, and hear what I'm saying, and I do not believe the American Colonization Society is pro-black, but American Colonization Society was connecting people back to Africa. So, and I don't believe that's pro-black as a movement.
but they were started by white folks.
Well, actually, it was started by John Brown Russell, which was a black man. He was the first person talking about immigration back to
Yeah, but it
Africa.
was at
It
the
was black
behest
people who
of
were starting
white
that.
people. White people said that they wanted
Exactly.
to
But
they wanted
Wait,
to
but
are
white people are
you talking
connecting
about
back.
the same people that migrated thousands of African Americans to Liberia? Are you talking about that same
Yes,
institution?
and that's what I'm saying. I'm saying if we're using that as a measuring stick, you're saying connecting us back to the continent and everything else, then you would have to say they're pro-black. But I wouldn't. But I'm saying I don't
No,
No,
I
agree
you
that
can't
they're
wouldn't
pro-black.
say
even.
that
No, no, no,
because
no, no. Because bro, that was
No,
a
I don't. No, no,
colonized
no.
space.
Hear
That
what
was
I
a
just said. I said
colonized
I do
space.
not.
Like
Hold on.
you
First of
can't
all, Timothy,
even.
listen what I said. I already said at the very beginning. I don't believe they're pro-black. I'm just
yeah.
saying, but if you use that as a measure stick, what he just said, then you would have to include them. And I don't include them as being pro-black.
No, but that's painting
No,
everything
you
with a
can't even
broad stroke.
include.
That's 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 like saying, cars have wheels, and then I say, well, a shopping cart has wheels. Is that a car? Is that an automobile? It's not the same thing. Like, that was white folks' attempt to find a homeland for us outside of America, because they didn't know what to do with us at the time, and so they hired some black folks and spent money on some black folks to allow them to do that. Anything that's done under the permission of racism, white supremacy, is not going to be something that's pro-black, in the best interest of black people, despite what's in the best interest of the white community. That was them
Yeah,
creating that on their own behalf.
exactly.
I
And
would say,
Liberia ended up like causing a full scale, like literally the descendants of the African Americans that ended up going to that area that was literally colonized by European nations, essentially. And then once they did, was they kicked out the indigenous Africans that were already there, potentially for hundreds, maybe even thousands of years that had already been there. And they set it up as a colonized space. And then that's when they asked African Americans, "Hey, do you want to come to this space?" And as an attempt to gain back access into going back home to Africa, because they were still again trying to figure out a way to just get rid of black people from the United States. A lot of us chose to stay. A lot of us chose to leave. The ones that chose to leave, again, were going to Liberia, but that's a colonized space. That is a space where
well,
they essentially, as soon as they set foot onto the land, the indigenous Africans were already thrown out of their own land. So that in and of itself caused a rift. And then generations later, it literally caused a full scale civil war between the descendants of African Americans and the indigenous Africans that were there, and all of which was funded by European powers. So that's not pro black in any way, shape, or form. Not even the essence or the
Okay,
creation of
wait,
it
wait, wait, wait,
was
wait.
pro black,
Okay,
because that
so
was all
the rift,
orchestrated by
the
white
rift
people.
again. The
he
rift
did
did
say
not
that.
start until the white people got in, because with
They
Paul
got in before
Coffey and other
the.
people. No, because Paul Coffey was actually bringing people back to Liberia before then. If you actually do the history, black people were already back to Africa
Okay, but
and
when
doing
did they
this. It was already
colonize Liberia?
no, that's what I just told you. I said, hear what I just said. I said we were already reconnecting ourselves back to places like the Caribbean and of course back to Africa. If you look at Paul Coffey and all them with their own money and their own ships and things like that, we were already doing that. It wasn't
Okay.
until the white people started doing it in high numbers, then the Civil War part started. So when we were connecting ourselves, because even if you look, Martin Delany was one of the very first to actually go to Africa and actually talk with African people and actually and bless off to get us certain lands over there. So we were already connecting ourselves. If my thing is, if they just gave us the ships and left us the hell alone, I think we would have had a great repatriation back to Africa. So it wasn't until colonization and these colonized and white people got into it to where things started happening on the down end. So
But
I'm just saying,
when did the expatriation back to Africa start, and when did colonization start? That's what my questions are. My
When I
questions are:
said
when were these
reconnection,
spaces fully colonized? When were the ports set up in those spaces? What type of environment were the people of African ancestry that were expatriating back to Africa? What type of environment were they going back into? Was it already
we
colonized
started.
spaces, already
No, it
spaces that
wasn't.
were taken over by the Europeans, or was it just indigenous African spaces never touched by Europeans? And then they made their way back into it, because it
No,
sounds like this is all
we
after the
started going
European
back.
slave
No,
trade,
no, 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 no. We started going back in 1816. We started going
which is
back in
after the slave
1816.
trade.
No, no, no. Right,
Well,
1816. But
yeah,
no, the colonization of society didn't pop up until almost 1830s to 1840s. So
yeah, but
we
they
were
had already
already
been
doing it prior.
colonizing the coast of Africa since they first started the European transatlantic slave trade. Like that
Okay,
was
what I'm
all
saying is,
slave ports by that point.
we were already establishing relationships. If you even if you look at Denmark Vesey, who actually sailed to Haiti and other parts of Africa and talked to them about his plans to do a large rebellion. And when Haiti told him, hey, if you start it, we'll help you finish. If y'all get over here, we'll help you out. So I'm trying to tell you is we were already doing these things prior to the colonization society. It wasn't until the colonization society started saying, "Oh, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna get this part of Liberia and start doing this." There was already people, free black people, who made it over there, who was already getting along great with indigenous African people who already knew that that was their home. They was already doing that. We were already reconnecting ourselves. It was when white interference came in and started trying to set up different towns in Liberia to where that's when all of it started going haywire. So
right?
we ourselves was already connecting.
What I was trying to say though about reconnecting back to Africa, I meant like creating economy, building factories, schools, the five major institutions that we need as a people, not just going back to Africa, but actually putting putting us, like I said, in a 0 to 100 uh, range, not from -100 to zero. Anti-racism being a zero-sum game. Placing us back in Africa puts us right back where we were supposed to be the whole time. But reconnecting in terms of building an economy, a world economy, an African world economy, where we have an African currency, we have African banks, we can get loans, even to buy land here in America through our African banks, built by or backed by African resources. This is pro-blackness. Anti-racism is just alleviating our people of oppression. That's something that we can do to mitigate the effects of systemic oppression, as they're felt within our community. But to make that our goal and purpose is to our own detriment, because it's something that's a tool of survival. But to make our purpose for white folks to like us one day is not
White folks
not
will never like us as much as we want them to.
Of
Thank
course
you
they
for
won't.
inviting me and letting me in here. To go back to a point you said, every time
Well,
that black folks have tried
hold on,
to do that,
hold on. Age, race, and pronouns. Age, race, and pronouns, please.
35, black, he, him.
all right. Talk to us.
Um, from my limited understanding of history, I'm not going to sit here and say I'm a huge scholar or anything, but it seems like every example of times where black folks have tried to create that community, white folks have come and just destroyed it. No matter what, if we're doing it on our own, minding our business, trying to
We lost them.
be in our
Yeah, he got
business
them bars.
every time. And now, yeah, like so, like the see, like there's always going to be people within power that don't like black people doing their own thing. even if on the base level, the average, white person is like, oh yeah, let them live. There's always going to be someone in power that specifically has the aim. Like, I can't believe they're over there minding their business, trying to build wealth. You have, from my understanding, a lot of countries in Africa are still under control of the French and can't do um, their own currency. We got Gaddafi out. The United States went in there when Gaddafi wanted to get everything and have his own currency based off gold. They literally went in and took him out because the United States couldn't have that. Even here with this, the history of race riots and things, they just won't leave us alone no matter what we do. So we need, in my opinion, we need to have black people that are pro-black in positions of power to work on the system from the inside out, as opposed to us always trying to fix it from the outside. People that are politically savvy, that can rise up in the ranks, not only at the federal level, but at the state level and the local level as well, to have pro-black politicians, not so much overtly, with like, the fist out and everything, but politicians that are pro-black at every level of government to kind of weed out these anti-black racist politicians that seem to always want to be in our business. That's my opinion on a possible solution.
Well, how familiar are you with Dr. Neely Fuller Jr.'s work?
I am not that familiar. The name sounds familiar, but I'm not super familiar. So I'm always open to being educated on it.
All right. So the way racism, white supremacy operates, according to Dr. Neely Fuller Jr., there's there's a mechanism at play where, you know, or actually, I'm sorry, I get Neely Fuller Jr. and his student, Dr. Francis Cress Welsing's work conflated sometimes, but Dr. Francis Cress Welsing is the one that gave us the reason or the psychoanalysis of racism and why it exists. The way it works is based off of fear of a genetic survival, genetic inferiority of people is a fear. Not saying that it's true. We, of course, know, we're all human beings, touch grass, but
Right.
they do have a fear of being wiped out by dominant traits and no longer looking the same anymore. And because of that fear in them, no matter what happens to the system, they will always be able to wield the system to their benefit. Dr. Khalid Muhammad said, a lot of us want to change the spider web, but don't want to unalive the white spider. Like if you clean the spider web, you get rid of the spider web, but don't unalive the spider, it's just gonna go and build another web. So
Exactly.
us join their corrupt system, built on the backs of our ancestors to try to change it is, it might work for a time, like when we got the right to vote, hey, we're able to, contribute to some policy changes, guys. But now, look, here we are in 2024, and voter suppression is at an all-time high. So, they're always going to find a way, because that fear is a major motivating factor in what they do in racism, white supremacy.
I 100% agree with that. I'm not disagreeing with any of that. Just in my, it's hard to fight it from the outside. Like, we
But
as
see, that's
black
the
people,
thing. Do you think we should fight it?
we should
What's your
keep
thought?
fighting it. I feel like taking it down from the inside is a more resource and is a better use of our resources, as opposed to fighting from the outside, because they've built this wall, they've built this system that is fundamentally
But what are we
against us.
fighting for?
Well, I think as a carpenter, a wise carpenter doesn't show up to build a house with only a hammer and a nail. A wise carpenter has a full toolkit, and I think we need to fight it in every single way possible.
Yes,
Whether it be voting, whether it be revolution, or no matter what, we have to use every tool that we have and not leave any tool unused when we're actually trying to build our house and when we're trying to dismantle the house that we're in. So we have to use every tool and not just one tool and think that one tool is the right way, because it wasn't one way that we got here. So we're gonna need every tool to make sure we deconstruct white supremacy, demolish it. I would say unalive the entire system of white supremacy and rebuild our own system. And we're gonna need every tool that we have.
I agree.
I think that's a noble endeavor, but I don't think we have control over that system. According to Dr. Neely Fuller Jr., what we think, feel, and try to do in the context of racism, white supremacy, doesn't change anything. You know, what we think or feel does not matter. And, you know, how us trying to tear down a system that is inherently going to view us as second class and subhuman. To what benefit? You know,
Brother Legend, you're correct.
like again,
You're correct what you said.
this is the difference between fighting systemic oppression as a means for survival versus making a goal of fighting a systemic oppression. I am more of the Garveyite sense. I think that our energy is better spent building amongst ourselves. Look at what Ibrahim Traore is doing in Burkina Faso. Let's take back Africa for Africans. Let's build an African economy. The same way Koreans have a Korean bank in Koreatown, we could have African banks in Little Africa, you know, here in America. Like, like once we have empowered ourselves to a degree, anti-racism will be a non-factor because they're going to need our African resources. So racism is going to disappear once we have the power in our own hands. Why not go to get that power ourselves? Why not use Black power the way Dr. Amos Wilson has described? Why focus on reforming white, you know, systems?
It's
I
not
don't think
necessarily. I
anybody
don't mean it as a reform, as a focus. I agree with the two pronged approach. If I could propose an analogy, imagine the system is like a castle. We could bombard the castle from outside and try to, hit it with our cannons, our trebuchets, whatever, and try to storm this castle and the walls. Or if we got someone on the inside to let the gate down, we could get just enough people inside to weaken those defenses from the inside. I'm not necessarily saying we have to always not we're not going to get enough pro-black people elected. You know what I mean? Like they're never going to elect.
They're not going to let that happen. Number one. And
Yeah, they're not. The people that are in power aren't going to let that happen. But we can get some people in. That's what I'm saying. We can get some people at the state level, at the
But
local
they're
level.
still going to have to be complicit to a degree. Like they're going to have to be. Like Barack Obama couldn't have been a pro-black president, you know, even secretly, because
Oh yeah, absolutely.
when it
You're
was
right.
time to pay the Zionists or do something for the AIPAC, AIPAC, whatever, he would have had to do it. Like, you know, it's certain things they will not let us do in our own people's best interest.
And the reason I bring this up because that's what they have done. The forces that be have insidious. There's a lot of elections where there's essentially Klan members running unopposed. There's certain people that are running unopposed and they get in and they keep moving up the ranks and promoting policies that are anti-black. And
But
it's
the
been
only way,
happening for decades.
yeah,
The
but the
issue
only
is
way we
family
do
is
it,
that the
we have
issue
to
is
create
family
some.
is that you can't. Okay, these systems were specifically designed to be at the detriment of black people, regardless if you are a participant in the system, able to learn all the ins and outs of the system or not. That's the reason why you see that even with black police officers, they will literally be the target of their departments if they were to come out and actually talk openly about the nonsense that they see, systemic oppression, racial oppression, everything that's going on within the policing field, the system that you're seeing. So that's the reason why you're seeing a lot of black officers just literally not saying anything. And in many instances, you'll even see black officers be more aggressive and more violent because they're trying to essentially tap in to whatever type of nonsense it is that YT supremacy has very much so instilled inside these so-called justice systems. So it's there's like there are so many different facets that are in place because with the system of YT supremacy, they have thought of every single part of what it is that we are talking about. They have designed it so that no matter how much you join in, no matter how much you're tapped in, no matter how much you are in the room, no matter how much you are taking down the notes, you are still going to be operating to the ultimate purpose, which is to defend YT supremacy and all of its interests. is
Yeah,
very much so, but
real
it's
quick.
also part of the
I
reason.
know, I know, brother
Well, that
Legend's wife. I know brother Legend's wife is trying to get him away, and I don't want to
Word,
monologue
I'm
all
trying
day.
to go.
But
oh shit.
so
Okay.
look, so I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna go. I think we need to be very clever. If you ever check out the book, The Spook Who Sat by the Door, right?
That's the
We
third
have
time
some.
this week I heard that book, brother. Go ahead, talk to us.
Man, it's a wonderful book. But the thing is, it's about this black CIA agent or FBI agent who actually understood and found out everything that they was doing on the inside. Then he came to tricks and tactics that were being used as he got back into the community. So what I'm saying is that we have to build something so independently away from the American society that it is 100% us, built by us, for us, and we can operate in that system and have the power of that system. If we cannot do that, then everything we have is going to be dependent on the system of capitalism in America. We have got to build our own system of success, our own system of political, economical, and resources that we can literally feed ourselves and do things for ourselves and show this other system that we don't need it and that to hell with them. And we need to truly embrace it and have a mass exodus out of this American system and join into this African system of wealth, longevity, and of course getting back to our roots and creativity and our well-being and our culture.
Yeah,
So that's all I'm
absolutely.
going to say. Brother Legend, you have a good night, bro. Thank you for having me up. And
Yes,
thank you,
sir.
brother. All right,
Appreciate you,
Timothy.
brother.
All
Thank
right,
you.
brother. Y'all take
All
care.
right.
Legend got to get to his wife. I'm out.
Yeah, you know me. Appreciate you, brother. Um, Nah, this is a good discussion, man. This is Garveyite Du Bois kind of combo we having here. Like what do we do while we're here, or should we just all pack it up and go? I would encourage brothers to check out Ibrahim Traore. Ibrahim Traore in Burkina Faso is doing exactly everything that brother Black Cabinet Education Professor Baba Lloyd that was just up here, everything he just said is happening right now on the continent of Africa. They're doing it, and they've even put out the president of Burkina Faso has put out an order. Like he gave us orders as African Americans, Caribbeans, and Afro Europeans. He's told us all to start voicing more on our platforms about what's going on in Africa, telling the truth about Africa, and waking our people up. Because everything he's doing, even though he's an African in Africa, he's seeing it as a revolution for Black people worldwide, and he's talking to all of us in his speeches. He has done amazing things. He's starting his own economy. He's kicked out France. He's changed the national language back to its original language. He got help from Russia, military support from Russia, and then kicked them out of the gold mines after they helped him. So he's on some Pan African revolutionary stuff over there. So I think it's possible. I think we gotta. This is an age old argument though, back and forth. So appreciate y'all coming
I'm
up.
always trying to learn more and, be more tuned in and find out more information. I'm not as I should be. Life gets in the way. So I love these discussions. Thank you for having me on last
Yes,
minute. I
sir.
appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you bringing that knowledge up here. Thank you, and yeah, have a good night. All right,
Thank you.
y'all. Yep. All right, y'all. Peace and power. I'm out. I'll be back tomorrow night. Don't forget, y'all can check out the YouTube. I'm going to post a replay. Check me out on Twitter, BIGBROLGND. We do Twitter Spaces every Saturday at 4, y'all. Every Saturday at 4 Central Time, 5 Eastern Time. All right. Peace, y'all. One love.